Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to be reviewing this beer. It is called Rhubarbra Streisand. Obviously a little comedy play on words there. It is a rhubarb and custard, hence the little rhubarb and custard theme tune I played for you at the beginning of this video. Milkshake Pale Ale. Now, this is always a little worry. I see this and I think this could be great, but rhubarb and custard and a beer, is that going to work? We've had some difficult run-ins with milkshake IPAs in the past. I'm just hoping that this can redeem itself. This is actually extra custard edition, so it could be really, really creamy. Whether we're going to get some of that rhubarb flavours and the custard, the sort of vanilla sort of thing, it's going to be interesting. I'm sure it's going to be sweet. Let's get this beer out of the can and into a glass, shall we? So, this is from, who is this from? Brew York, of course it is. This is from Brew York, so they do quite a lot of different types of beers. And as I say, this is obviously a special edition in terms of its extra custard. So I'm not sure what the other one it was like without the extra custard. But you can see that we've got a nice two-finger head there. You've got a very sort of, well, I mean, to want of a better word, that looks like rhubarb, that sort of colour, so that sort of burnt orangey sort of colour. Quite high levels of carbonation. You can see those bubbles rising up the glass there. But let's start getting some aroma, shall we? Yeah, there's a real sharp fruit element there. Whether it's rhubarb, I'm not sure, but it's, yeah, there's that sort of real sharpness of that and sweet fruit that rhubarb has. It's quite that sort of tartness, and then you get that sort of. You do get the aromas of a sort of vanilla-y, sort of custardy sort of smell. So I would say those aromas are pretty spot on from what it's going to be like. I'm anticipating this with trepidation, let's say, but here we go. Cheers, everyone. It's certainly sweet. You get the rhubarb, but it's a little artificial. You know those little boiled sweets of rhubarb and custard? You know, they don't really taste like custard or rhubarb, but they've got that sort of sweetness, and that is more what this is getting. It's got a really nice soft mouthfeel though. Very, reasonably full-bodied. It doesn't taste like beer. It tastes a little bit like some sort of sweet cider. I think it's because it's so sweet and that sort of detracts from the beer. But actually, it's not bad. And actually, in the glass, it looks pretty good. It's got a really great body to it. Sometimes the milkshake IPAs, they can be a bit sort of watery, which you wouldn't expect. But this one's got a nice balance of flavour. Really sweet. It reminds me of something, and I'm just racking my brain trying to remind me, but it tastes a little bit like medicine. Calpol. If you've ever had kids, you know what Calpol tastes like. There's a slight Calpol taste to this beer. It's just unusual though for me. It is quite nice. Whether I don't think you'd sit and drink 3 or 4 of these. It's a nice as a one-off. It's very fruity. It's the sort of beer that, even my partner would drink because, it's sweet. Doesn't taste like beer. But it has got that slight medicine taste to it. But the custard, I think, and I think this is obviously the extra custard edition, gives it that real thick body, and it's really, really soft on the mouth. So it tastes more like more milky and milkshakey, like a smoothie. So not bad. It could have been a lot worse. But let's calculate some scores, shall we, for the Rhubarbra Streisand. Custard and Rhubarb Milkshake Pale Ale. That's a mouthful. Okay, the scores are in for the Rhubarbra Streisand, and it's a milkshake, rhubarb and custard milkshake pale, coming in at 5.5% in a 440ml can. It's a little bit of a mouthful, both saying the title and the actual drink itself, to be honest. So, first things first, aroma. Really sweet, but you get those sort of nice custardy sort of vanilla notes in there. It's quite nice. It does smell like boiled sweets, but I think it's not too bad. It smells like what you expect it to. So I'm giving it a 13 out of 20 for aroma. Appearance, well, I think it looks pretty good. It looks like rhubarby sort of colour, sort of that sort of burnt orangey sort of colour. It's got a nice head on there, and you can see the lacing of the glass there. So I think it's pretty good. 9 out of 10 for appearance. Flavour, it's an interesting one. This one, I am actually quite enjoying it. I had sort of reservations that it could be a bit too sickly and sweet. And to be honest, if you haven't got a sweet tooth, you probably won't like it. But whereas some of the other sort of milkshake or the ones, you know, like the blueberry muffin, their sort of flavours don't quite work. This sort of works, you know. If it's a sort of, if you like the idea of rhubarb and custard in a beer, then you'll probably really like this. So flavour wise, I'm giving it a 31 out of 40. Not the best, but certainly not poor. It certainly does what it says on the tin. Value for money, I'm giving it 8 out of 10. It's a 440ml can. Cost me about £4. It's not Brew York, not usually the sort of mid-range sort of beers that you can get. So not bad value for money there. And then overall experience, well, it's a little different. If you can get away from the fact that it does have that slight cowpole taste to it, you know, some people like that flavour. But it's sort of got a really great mouthfeel to it, and it's got a nice full body. It slides down really nice. There's not like huge high levels of carbonation on there. It's sweet. It's a little sickly. You might have one or two, and then that would be it. But I've enjoyed it, and I'm glad I've tried it. So I'm giving it a 13 out of 20 for my overall experience. So we're touching those scores up, and we get quite a respectable 74 out of 100. So it's a Whitesnake beer. It's we're going to slide this down slow and easy. I'm sure I can think of some sort of sickly sweet sort of song title, but they're escaping me from right now. It's not cheap and nasty. That's what I can say. So I'm going to slide this down slow and easy, and we'll see you in the next video. Remember, keep on rocking.